Hello, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. If you want to jump straight into the episode, you can go to this timestamp right here. Otherwise, let me give you some context because we are not at the beginning of the campaign. We are in a world known as F.L.A.R.E. This is a homebrew world that I created all of the kingdoms for and everything of the sort. The world of F.L.A.R.E. is a world that is scarred and torn apart, kingdoms crumbled into ruin, and brand new ones standing, and very few lasting the test of time. This world has experienced three of what they are calling the Wars of Desolation. These wars went anywhere from gods fighting gods to the followers fighting followers, all the way to the Wild Mother, the Everlight, the Allhammer fighting against Vecna, Zolgaroth, who is a homebrew deity, as well as the Chained Oblivion. There were three wars that essentially leveled and took away most of the mortal population. We are sitting about 1800 years after the first war. With that being said, let me introduce you to the crew that you all are going to be experiencing and running around with. Please accept the fact that the art will get better and a little more personalized. I know right now it seems a little generated. Bear with us. It's not intended to be that way all the way through and through. To start off, we do have Caden, who plays Raven, a variant human sorcerer who practices shadow magic and has some amount of ties or connection with the Raven Queen. Don't worry, he was named well after that was in the plan. He didn't know that was coming up. Secondly, we have Kyra, who plays Sercie, a life domain cleric, first who followed a homebrew deity who turned out to be evil, and now communes with the Everlight. Thirdly, we have Austin, who plays Briar, a Feywild fairy, druid specifically, Circle of Dreams, who is on a quest to attempt to figure out these dreams that his village had, and had a very quick and the most recent run-in with the rest of these players and this group. And lastly, we have William, who plays F.L.A.R.E, a warforged from one of the old Wars of Desolation, which time frame they're not exactly sure, as much of his memories are gone. The group actually found him covered in moss and vines in the middle of a forest about 60 feet off the beaten path. And after having awakened him, they had brought him along with them for the journey to try and restore his memories and any help they needed along the way. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so last time, upon approaching the land of Dundren to find the Quintarium Stronghold, a huge grand sea drake began attacking the ship, resulting in the death of most of the crew as well as your crewmate, Harlane. After taking time and trying to come to terms with what has occurred, you finally arrived at Dundren, a large open green field of land stretched into the morning haze that concealed of much of what was ahead. Traveling through, F.L.A.R.E was the first to hear that coming through this thick fog there was a whistling noise. An arrow, a warning shot rather, lands at your feet as the fog begins to magically part, revealing a large rock wall stretching for easily a quarter of a mile. Woman on top, as well as dozens of archers. This woman, being taller, half-elf, this blonde, lengthy, curled and knotted hair, tells you to turn back. But after hearing your pleas, spoke with another figure on the bridge, a shorter gentleman. And after you were forced to tell the truth via arcane abilities, you were allowed into the Stronghold with many restrictions of where you could go and what you could do. You met your chaperone, the other individual who had spoken to her on the wall, a small halfling known as Savant Marith, who was very excited to see Flux, and the rest of you hearing that you were from Meshatal. You followed the Savant inside, and there being able to see that there was some architecture that continued along the inside of the wall in the form of rooms and hallways, but it was mostly an open, large courtyard where massive tents full of soldiers and training grounds and resided areas. Yes, F.L.A.R.E.
My name's F.L.A.R.E, not Flux.
I said Flux. I knew that was gonna happen. Hold on. Okay. F.L.A.R.E. Okay. I apologize. I did actually I didn't read it wrong. I did write Flux on the recap accidentally. Um, sorry. Anyways, this large open courtyard holding at least 200 plus soldiers and guards that seem to have all sorts of different armor and colored uniforms. And there, the savant took you down a hallway along the left side of this wall. On the right of this hall, pillars that opened up into the courtyard to the outside, and to the left, multiple doors, as well as opened areas into other rooms stretched across. He eventually brought you to one that appeared to be a very ragged door, wooden slats kind of jaggedly put together, and there, as it scraped along the stone floor, he brought you into what appears to be his quarters. Large bookshelves lined the back walls of this room, desks lined with papers, trinkets, a spellbook lying on a podium at the base of his bed. And as he brings you all in, he begins to ask so many questions regarding you being from Meshatal, regarding F.L.A.R.E being the way F.L.A.R.E is, and eventually a tabaxi woman wearing silk white robes, a cleric, who has an emblem of the Everlight embroidered into these robes, walked in and began casting very common spells, asking the questions you've been asked a million times, F.L.A.R.E, at this point of, what do you remember? Do you have any deity you follow? And after some time of looking around, I believe Sercie was taking a look at the books in the back of the room. Raven was sitting next to F.L.A.R.E on the ground. And Marith, sitting by his desk, is just ingrained and staring at the rest of you. As in the distance, you begin to hear the horns. And immediately the cleric stands up, excuses herself from the room, as a young guard turns into the doorway, and very nervously, though with some puffed out chest, begins to say, if you all could remain here, stay with Savant Marith, I would greatly appreciate it. Yes, and slams the door to the quarters closed.
Insight check.
Okay, go ahead and roll insight. What are you trying to find? Or
I want to try and figure out if the horns set off something in that guard that was like urgency, they have to go do their job, or urgency, something's wrong, stay here for your own protection.
Okay.
Along those vibes.
Okay.
Not that my insight is literally anything. It's a 16.
Okay. With the 16, you can tell, very obviously nervous, as I had mentioned, but he doesn't appear to be scared in the same way you've seen others scared in, like, war, in fights, where they're fearful of their lives. It's not to that extent. It almost seems as though whatever it is has him on edge, as if there's some importance to it. With that, Sercie, are you still looking at the books in the back?
Yeah, I mean, if they told us to stay there, I'll probably just, continue with whatever I'm doing.
Okay. Is there any books you were looking for in particular, or are you just sort of skimming?
Probably looking for books pertaining to the sinkhole or whatever it's called.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll an investigation check in that case, and I'll get back with you in just a second. F.L.A.R.E, as you and Raven are sitting on the ground next to each other, hearing these horns, you do see that Marith as well does give off some sense of nervousness, but less so nervous in the same way the guard was, and he looks more excited, rather. You do see that...
Because of me or because of the horns?
Because of whatever is going on with the horns. You do sort of see him sit there fidgeting, swinging his legs from the front of his chair as his feet don't quite reach the bottom. And he's just like, why did you all have to be here now? I really... And he sort of scampers over to the doorway and just begins trying to peek through these slats. As the door being very jaggedly put together, there are pretty large gaps in it. And he just kind of goes and is staring out the door through the cracks at this point.
I'll kind of approach his desk and, not with any hostility, start to like pick up the items and inspect them.
Okay. Let's see. What is your passive perception?
14.
14. You do see that sitting on the desk there in front of you, one of them looks almost like a table, like a top, if you will, a spinning top. There are multiple papers that you could tell kind of are indented. It almost looks like it's made of some sort of charcoal or something that's leaving a residue behind as it spins. There are papers scattered about that you can, with a quick skim, tell that much of it has to do with whatever time distortion, dilation is there, or what is exactly happening with it. It looks like this was a big focus of his studies. There are some papers that speak of the celestial engine, a phrase that you had heard of before, in very vague details, almost as if the reader of them is already supposed to know most of the details behind it. That's most of what remains on his desk at this point. There are a few pretty thick and hefty books that do remain in place, kind of holding out, being used as paperweights to hold down some rolled out scrolls and maps and things of the like.
How long have you worked here?
You see that as he's kind of peeking through the door.
Well, I worked with the Sherivan out of Quintarium for some time, and it took some convincing, but eventually they let me get assigned to here, which is very fun. Then a Sherivan, to my knowledge, doesn't get to stay here before, hence the raggedy room.
So this is just a room you're renting then?
Sort of. There's a weird relationship between the strongholds and the kingdoms. The king does have some weight over here, but the oath of the stronghold is greater than that of the kingdom. Because of that, he did have some influence, and sort of I have this room for free. But I spend very little time here. Most of what I do remains in the depths below the stronghold. A lot of research stored there, a lot. But when was I last down there? I don't remember. Ooh, hang on. And he goes back to peeking out the door, and at this point, from out the door, you do hear BB Cam. You do hear the shuffling and moving of equipment. It sounds as though canvas rubbing against canvas and wooden posts being taken out. You do hear some hammering, and almost as if the entire courtyard of this stronghold is shifting equipment and moving things suddenly. As he sort of stops answering your question and goes directly back to peeking through that doorway.
What are you looking at?
Shuffle through the papers of the celestial engine, and I won't interrupt F.L.A.R.Es. He asks.
Okay.
I'm kind of just peeking in the same direction that the little guy's peeking.
Okay.
Blue.
With that, F.L.A.R., go ahead and roll me a perception check. And as you
Why
do,
are you guys making me do all the wisdom shit?
Asking that question.
Perception, I actually have a +3 in, so 11.
11.
No, 12.
12. One greater. He
is 12.
As you sort of ask him and peek through the doorway, he goes,
I think we're going to have some visitors. And you can now see that peeking through, all of the tents in this courtyard have been torn down. This easily quarter-mile by quarter-mile stretch of land, it has just been torn down, and you can see that on the other side of the hall from this door where those pillars stood, there was about a foot of rock relief before the pillars begin from the ground. You see that they are collapsing down the canvas of these tents and pushing it behind to kind of hide it away. And you see that most of these 200 plus guards begin standing in what look like a very structured formation throughout the courtyard, all sort of centered in the area. With looking through the papers in regards to the Celestial Engine, you do find a few that seem almost physics-based, if you will. Some very... Actually, go ahead and just roll me a Arcana check.
That would be a nat 20 for a 22.
Sorry, I meant Raven. That's my bad.
Never mind. I'll go fuck myself. It's fine.
Unless you also wanted to look at those papers.
I was paying attention.
16.
Okay.
Just as good.
With the 16, you can tell that these equations, these symbols that resemble things that you would read in spell books, in things that are utilized, especially within that arcane school that you had been to both in Urban Yule as well as the one in Quintarium. You do recognize that it appears they were trying to solve a problem, as if they were trying to understand on a basic understanding of Arcanum how this engine functions, how exactly it works, beyond just the, oh, this is what it does type of explanation. There is, at some point, a letter that you find that is held in place. Some solvent is holding it to the page. What languages do you read?
Page 4. Read page 4.
It's a single page.
Where did I go?
Where did that go? Okay, I can also pull it up.
They're really reading that page.
I speak Dwarvish, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Okay. This page is unreadable to you. You can tell with the way it is structured, it looks like a formal letter of some kind, as if a message from one to another, the way it's indented. You are able to piece that together, but the exact of what it says, you're not too sure. F.L.A.R.E, I almost called you Flex again. As you're still peeking out this door, you do hear, and actually everyone in the room once again hears a third horn. One that sounds with a different tone, more of a little bit of a higher tone, and a little more of a triumphant sound. And as it does, you hear from a shout from out in the courtyard, Zil! Ha! And you hear all together this massive of metal clinking against metal, and this armor and the staffs of everyone in this formation getting to a much more formal position and standing perfectly upright and still. Where the door is, you do see that there is a gap that perfectly shoots to the center of each of these formations. And from there you watch, and actually, I don't have this pulled up. You do see that appearing in the center between the two parts of this formation, on this side at least, a very large, or rather bulky, short and stout, but big muscled figure in heavy armor stops in the center, and there you see a Leonin of a very large stature, if you will. Behind him, two other figures approach the center and stop. These two you both recognize. One being the keeper that you met on top of the wall, being the taller half-elven female wearing those silk white robes, and the other, the Tabaxi cleric, who was just in the room with the two of you. Or rather, the few. I believe there's 4 or 5 of you in there. As they stand and they wait, you do slowly, over the course of a few minutes, begin to hear the sort of shifting and rustling as everybody who was standing at a very formal position is kind of becoming relaxed over time, as that armor, as you know and can probably tell, is not too light. But they wait there for what looks like a few minutes. Sercie, did you roll that investigation check by chance?
Chop. 17?
17. Okay. With a 17, looking at these books, you can tell, kind of very similar to what Raven is able to see on the desk, some of it has to do with time. The observation of how time flows. There is some that has history books that read about the Wars of Desolation. There are some that even go further back than that, and they look very old and very decrepit, and as though the leaves of the pages are beginning to fall apart. And many of them appear to be journals, handwritten entries that are just documentations of study. What's that?
Can I do detect magic?
Okay, yeah. So you go ahead and cast the spell, and looking around, there isn't much magical in this room. I believe, what's the range on that? 30 feet or 60 feet? Oh, no, come back.
30 foot.
30 feet, thank you. As far as 30 feet go, sort of looking around, there is a few of the trinkets that remain on the savants' desks, as well as the spellbook that remains on the podium, that all have some sort of glow to them. You see the same friends who have always glowed glowing, and F.L.A.R.E. now even. You see that same ring that you had placed back into his open chest cavity when you had first found him. And you can see that it's ever so slightly rotating and ever so slightly turning. Just a bit, not much. But it still does show the same type of magic. And you can see these little tiny, almost cords, if you will, of that same glow echoing through each limb and just sort of highlighting, almost as if a bloodstream, if you will, throughout F.L.A.R.E.'s body. But none of the books on the bookshelf glow. With that, F.L.A.R.E., is it just you that's looking out the door, or is anybody else right now?
I think it's just F.L.A.R.E. I'm at his desk still skimming through stuff.
Okay, perfect. Can you go ahead and roll me one more perception check?
No, that's a 5.
Okay.
Oh.
While you're staring out, you do still see those 3 figures, but almost like there's something covering your lenses. They almost are slightly blurry. You can't see as good
Red,
the
white, and blue.
detail. You can't see as good of the detail as you had seen originally. But almost as if it moves towards them from the opposite side of the formation, peeking out. You can now see some sort of blue glow. Some figure that gives off this light. You can see that it's pretty dim, but it goes for a while. And then you see another, and another. And these 3 lights stand across from those 3 figures in the same exact position. You cannot see whether or not they're communicating, talking, or what with the 5 perception check, but you do hear the savant sort of, "Oh, they've arrived." And he sort of goes back and begins pulling some of these books, kind of going around where Sercie is, pulling some of these books off and kind of flipping through pages. He goes, "I left it down in the depths. I needed to... Okay. Ha. How about..." And he puts the books back, goes back to the doorway and peeks through. And you see those 3 figures, as well as the 3 lights, turn and walk further in towards the entrance of the Stronghold in the same direction that the 3 figures you are aware of approached from. And he sort of lets out the sigh. "How would you guys feel about going on a very quiet field trip?"
Yes.
Okay, whew. You do then, still looking out the door, see the rest of the formation, especially the back half, as they leave, sort of relax and shrug off a bit of the weight of their armor. Some of them actually taking the clasps off and letting the breastplates that they were wearing fall to the ground slowly, as to not make a scene, but still kind of relax at this point. Okay, I need to go down. We have to... They probably don't want you guys near. Okay, I tell you what. Here's the game plan. If you all are game for it, the stairwell down is by the entrance, and I'm pretty sure that's where they are right now, so we'll just pretend like we didn't see or hear anything, and we'll avert our gaze, because if they can't see us, we can't see them, or vice versa. You know how that works.
I don't.
You jokester. Okay, so, everybody ready? Okay. He tries to open the door, and you already begin to hear that of the wood against the rocks. Stupid. And he kind of like tries to lift up the door a little bit and scoot it further and set it down. He takes you out the hall and back down towards the entrance from whence you came. And as you approach the corner to turn, that would show you that entrance, he sort of peeks around. He's like, "Ooh, okay." He turns back to you guys. "Look, they may or may not be like right there, and we don't want to be seen by them. But halfway in between is the stairwell that we need to go down. So I say we just make a run for it." You can run, right? And he points over at F.L.A.R.E.
Not quietly.
Ugh. And as he's sort of trying to look back and forth, and you see all these gears and cogs turning in his head, you hear, "Excuse me, savant." And he goes, "The savant's not here right now. Please leave a message." And turning around the corner, you do see that same Tabaxi cleric. "Why are you hiding?" I needed to go to the depths, but I don't know if you wanted them to see them and theirs." She goes, "It is fine, savant. You live here. Just go where you wish." And she sort of brushes him off and walks back. And he's like, I think it worked. He begins to round that same corner, and there, close enough that all of you can now see, is those same three figures. The Cleric, the Keeper, and that Leonin. Standing next to now this blue light that you can see take hold in spectral forms. What almost look like people, or imitations of people, in a very wispy, mostly transparent sense. And they appear to be speaking to the Leonin. As you turn the corner and begin walking towards the way, all three, and as a matter of fact, 6 of them, including the first party, sort of turn and look at the rest of you. And the Cleric is just kind of shaking her head like, just go, please, go. However, the spectral forms do not take their eyes off of you. Especially, you can tell F.L.A.R.E. staring directly at you. And as you turn into the stairwell, you just hear this, "Who is he?" that almost whispers. And then you hear the continued muffled talking. Unless there's anything you all would like to do, you continue further down.
If I'm like down 2 or 3 steps, am I out of sight but still within earshot?
I would say so, yeah. You're out of sight. There's a this sort of open doorway that leads to those stairs. And so if you get even to the top of the stairs, there is no line of sight, but you are able to still hear.
Cool. I'm gonna stay there just long enough to try and hear a little bit of the conversation without leaving them for too long.
Okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna start forward and then bump into F.L.A.R.E. and be like, oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. If you could go ahead and roll a perception check.
Perception. Okay, not bad. +3 is 18.
Okay, yeah. Low DC just being around a corner. You continue to hear this light, almost wispy voice. A battle for goddess. Here. Now. You hear what you can only imagine, having heard the other 2 voices, the Leonin of the group, saying, they are just visitors for a time. We have them here. They had a few questions. We had a few questions of our own. They should be no trouble. I apologize for the intrusion. You hear silence for a solid moment. Perhaps. And then you begin to hear footsteps as they walk away from that intersection they were all standing in.
Okay, I'll go down the stairs and catch up with the group.
Okay. Eventually, you do see that this stairwell goes down for a ways. You're probably at this point already 20 feet underground, and it keeps going and keeps going. You do stop at an earlier level, and there you see multitudes of bookshelves, multitudes of these, some being like almost island counter style shelves with scrolls laid across them, and others. The savant kind of looks down, and pulls out a very dusty scroll. This is not so much a scroll in the same sense that any of you practitioners of the arcane would imagine, but rather what looks like a leaflet out of a very large book that was at one point ripped out and rolled up. As he rips it out, or rather unravels it, he sort of reads it. Yes, can I trust you all not to get in trouble?
Sure.
I have to get this to... I have to get this to some people who you may or may not have just seen. If you could... You could be up there. I would ask, stay away from them. I don't know if... They're not a fan of some people. And it's been a problem in the
Enough
past.
people.
Entities? Creatures? Beings?
Calculated correction. Lead on.
I've seen them smash a teapot, so inanimate objects count too. Just saying. And he sort of begins to walk back up the stairs. Very short visit, and you can see that this downstairs area stretches for the same distance as the compound. At least a quarter mile by a quarter mile of dark, almost no light. There's very few, what you can tell are arcane forms of light because they don't, fire, lack of oxygen, and really old dry paper don't mix too well. But most of the walls that end this room or this level you're on are too far out to even be seen. He begins to guide you back up the stairs. And as he does, you reach the top, and he sort of peeks out. Okay, good. They're gone. I believe they're in the meeting room upstairs. It's... okay. Stay wherever you want. Just on this level, I suppose. I'll be back. And just sort of scampers off and away. Leaving you all now in the top entrance doorway of the start of that stairwell that you can see walking out of. You see the pillars on that right side of the hall you had first traveled down. The entrance to the entire stronghold off to your right, as well as this intersection that sort of goes into the courtyard and further to where the savant had just walked.
Cast Fireball.
So suddenly...
Where the fuck?
Everybody roll a wisdom save. I actually don't know if that's wisdom. I think it is.
Dexterity.
Dexterity save. Whoops. Okay. So, it takes a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and for a solid minute, you begin to think that he's not coming back. Is there anything you all would like to do in this time?
Yeah, how are these scrolls organized?
Back when you were down in the, downstairs in that leveled area?
Yeah, just in retrospect, how are they organized? I heard him murmuring to himself.
Yeah. Just glancing at them, they don't really appear to be. It seems like there is not a coordinated system. There are no labels. You just see the butt end of scrolls sticking out. And if you'd like to, you can go through them and see if there's a specific order. Okay.
Nah.
Okay. But yeah, from what you could tell, it looked like if there is a system to keep track of them, it's not anything that would make sense to anyone else.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just wait.
Okay. As you wait longer, and just a bit longer, you do hear these footsteps rounding from one of the sides of the hallways. And looking over, you do see that same cleric in the white silk robes. Ah, hello, friends. And where did the savant run off to?
Good question.
Right, so he left you all... okay. Mr. F.L.A.R.E,
Yes.
Do you remember what time you are from?
Answer is still no.
Right.
The entire reason we came was to reconstitute my memory, and I don't remember much of anything other than occasional fragmented memories.
I only ask because the echoes do. That is all.
Echoes?
Yes, the sort of looks behind her. The wispy ones. They are.
Why are they curious about me?
I mean, isn't everyone?
Yes, but they are not everyone.
You're not wrong. They occasionally come out here. They are curious. Actually, they didn't give me a reason as to why they were curious. I didn't think to ask. And their methods, they don't like to have them questioned. But I don't know. They just asked. Perhaps you can ask them if you see them.
I was told not to engage.
By the savant?
Yes.
He has been told to tread lightly here, and so he is under the impression everyone must. I'm not telling you to do whatever you want, but... And she just, without saying another word, turns and walks away. At that point, who has the highest passive perception? Is that...
It would be our fairy, but he mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah, he's dead. We don't talk about
Yeah,
it.
don't worry about it.
Just
I
look
saw a
at
van. It said
the
free
lonely
tacos.
moss on my shoulder.
Free Feywild tacos.
Bro, no way. Where?
I have a +6,
Consider
so
theater.
I think that's pretty high.
Okay. I think so, unless Raven somehow outdoes that. You begin to hear footsteps coming down from that stairwell, or from a stairwell, kind of in the direction the savant was. But from behind the rest of you, you do hear this sort of, how would you say it? Anyone can question our methods. We don't take offense. And from through this stone wall from behind you, you see one of these spectral forms sort of peek out and circle around where Sercie stands and come to the front of where F.L.A.R.E is. And very up close to you, F.L.A.R.E, you see this figure that it's kind of hard to focus on because of the partial transparency. You see what's behind them too, and your lenses try and focus for a second.
Like looking at the rain on your windshield and then trying to refocus out to you actually driving.
Yeah. You see it looks down at your serial number. Looks back up to you. You're an old one.
I assumed, but I don't know.
So are we. And you begin to see the other two forms that also emanate out of different parts of the stone wall. As Vilionin, you can slightly hear under his breath coming from down that same stairwell talked about before. I hate it when they do that.
Define old.
I haven't and the foggiest.
Is that a joke?
And these ever so slight, like, cackles emanate from all three of them. Many are scared of us. I appreciate your humor.
I wasn't programmed to know fear.
No, you were not. You see the one who first began speaking to you, especially F.L.A.R.E, look over to the Leonin, who's now kind of looking at the rest of you as he has not met you yet. If they would like, we would love to show them our home. You see the Leonin sort of
You'll
shift.
get me answers?
As many as we can. The Leonin now having shifted. I am not sure if that's the smartest of ideas. You see the keeper sort of grab his shoulder. If you allow them, we won't stop you.
When everybody was in formation, was it because of the Leonin or was it because of these wispy fucks?
It almost, looking back on it now and seeing that it was who was talking to who, it almost seemed like a formal welcoming, almost to a diplomatic extent.
Hmm. But the Leonin seems to be kind of in charge of the keep.
He does.
Okay. Almost subconsciously, I'll just stand up a little straighter and a little more at attention now that the Leonins kind of joined the conversation, almost as if programmed to understand authority.
Okay. You do see that while he kind of looks at you for a split second, it almost negates his mind, as to many around him that is what occurs. The echoes that stand around you look back. Would you like to join us?
I believe that would be up to my friends. But if the keep does not have answers for us, we will take your answers instead.
He then looks over to Sercie and Raven. What say you?
What? Join them? Sorry, I clocked out for a second. Are we joining them in a meeting or something?
They are. All that has been said is them welcoming you to their home.
The wispy figures are from out of town, and they're asking us to join them where they stay.
Oh. I mean, we kind of have a mission here. I feel like they're going to take us to another realm or something. Okay, I'll just ask, will we be coming back?
You can go anywhere you choose. But if you come with us, you can return as soon as you would like.
Okay. I'm for it then.
You then hear the little pitter-patter of footsteps, and you see the savant running up behind the Leonin, being like, Marshall, oh, friends, you met the people I told you not to meet. Okay,
They came through a wall. We did not have a choice.
Oh! And he sort of looks up at the Marshal, and the Marshal goes, and he just kind of gives him a nod. Being this Leonin, for specification. He sort of looks up at the echoes. I've been looking into what you've asked. I haven't found much. Unfortunately, pauses. Neither have we. But perhaps we found some. And sort of stares back over at F.L.A.R.E. When you're ready, friends. And the three sort of shift into that same, almost one in the front, two behind position that you saw them approach in. And they begin to ever so slightly move towards the direction of not the entrance to the stronghold, but the opposite wall, towards the interior of Dundren.
What say you, friends? Shall we take a detour?
I'm just gonna pull out my books and start sketching and taking notes as we follow them.
Okay. And as you do, it takes a moment. The Leonin sort of just staring at you all as you leave.
I'll kind of turn and like stand at true attention. And again, without me even knowing how I know, I just do this very ancient salute that the Warforges would have done. Marshal. And then turn and leave.
You see him just have this absolutely confused look on his face. He turns back to the keeper. Is that what I think that was? She goes, You men and your formations can do whatever you'd like. And she sort of walks off. Eventually, you approach the other end of the exterior wall. And after being permitted, the drawbridge falls and you all continue to walk out. And you can now see on this side trees, fairly scattered out, but a very light forest that surrounds. The haze, you can almost see, acts as a dome, as this defensive measure for the stronghold. And as you enter into this tree line, the fog sort of rolls back in around you. Not too dense that you lose sight of these echoes, but still close enough. And as the fog does permeate around all of you, you hear this little and you see Briar that has now just gaining his bearing around and seeing that you guys are surrounded by fog, appeared behind all of you.
Question. How long between the dragon and now?
For you, hang on.
Yes. Because my flaw will dictate how this kind of goes.
I just sent you a message.
Oh, cool. All right. I can fuck with that. So you said I'm behind him?
Yes, you appear behind them, looking around. You do see that haze. You kind of see this distant wall that they're walking away from now, but a very faint outline of it. And trees surrounding, and you see them following three spectral blue dudes that you've never seen before.
Well, this isn't a boat. What are you guys doing?
Welcome back.
Hey, hello, thanks.
You missed a dragon.
Well, that's good.
It's
Those
Carlane.
Who?
Oh yes, you also missed the other of their companions die.
Oh, you guys had a friend die. Ah, that's must be some wild dreams you're gonna have about that.
I'm giving him a sharp glare. And then I go back to my books.
20.
I want to
Well-
hear about your dreams.
Have a seat.
I'm gonna fly on over, just kind of sit in that moss like it's home.
You see the cloaked figure known as Boy, or rather the Time Thief, who has been with you this whole time, is just very quiet in the background. Sort of look at Briar. And where were you exactly?
Oh, I was catching up with my dad. I guess he thought it was a good time for a chat. I don't know.
And so he just teleports you?
I suppose. Yeah. Is that not what your parents do?
Is your dad with us now?
I just kind of like look at all of them. I don't know. I don't think any of you are my dad.
You see him kind of look around, waiting for like ghosts or something.
I don't have parents, nor am I capable of siring children.
Yeah, well, you don't have to make something to be something's dad, you know.
But I did have a creator, I assume.
So you have a dad. Someone made you. Someone's your dad.
Sure.
Someone taught you. Someone's your dad.
Programmed. Anyway, to catch you up, we got to the keep and we met a savant, and then we met a cleric, and then we met a lion, and then we met 3 wispy fucks, and now we're following them.
I don't understand how any of this helps me save the stars,
You hear
but
you
All
hear
in
as you say
good
wispy
time?
fucks. Echoes.
Echoes.
would I know anything about echoes?
Roll a
That's what I'm trying to think right now.
for the purposes of this, I will say Arcana or History.
My choice.
Yep.
Cool. They're both +0.
While he rolls that, I figured out what my salute would have been. It would have been standing at attention, my glaive shoots out of my right hand, and my left one comes to meet it.
All right.
That's badass. I got a 17.
With
whichever
a
one.
17, all you can tell, whatever these are, is other planar. I mean, they, being as wispy as they are, there's a few different like realms and places you can see them existing. The best you can guess for if they were from the material plane is quite literal ghosts or other things of a supernatural extent, as many would consider it, but not them
Okay.
specifically.
Echoes.
And as you guys continue to walk, you continue to walk for hours and hours. And at one point, the forest line becomes thinner and ceases, and mountains stretch on your right side. And looking around, the fog does begin to dissipate. Could I have everyone roll me a perception check?
For sure.
27.
2. Okay.
Well,
Oh, is that 22 or what is it? Yeah, okay, 22. 12, 27, and is Raven still here? Is Raven with us?
Raven's clocked out.
Yeah. Dad moments.
Raven's
I
my
get it.
dad. My dad's
What?
not here. Raven's not here. It all adds up.
I just have a physical Raven on the other shoulder. Oh, there you are.
You see that this path you are walking slowly becomes and shifts from wild grass in all sorts of different forms and shapes to eventually a road, as if a path starts, especially as you round these mountains and you begin to, especially Briar in the distance, you see stone. Not surprising, you're next to a mountain range, but purposefully placed stone in long lines that stretch with some 90-degree angles, other almost looking like walls and torn apart ruins of some place that has at this point been covered with vines and moss and all sorts of textures of the elements, if you will.
I see fields of stone, ruined rubble too.
Copyrighted immediately.
I'll kind of, I kind of stand up on Flair's shoulder, pointing forward at, I was block the camera, pointing forward at the rubble and everything, just making sure that everyone's on track with where.
Okay.
Oh,
Briar, tell me what your very eyes see.
You
Ox, my lord.
As he points this out, the rest of you slowly over time, as you continue to walk for these hours on end, continue to pick up that these ruins go for a while. Whatever this was appears to be an old, possibly city to kingdom. It stretches for miles. The road that you are now walking travels in between, and it's almost surreal to see these ghostly like figures along this road where all of these half-standing buildings remain. But eventually, you leave the ruins and you continue forward for another hour, for another 2, and for another 3, until eventually you hear, "We draw near."
What?
And on the distance, you see... Are you actually asking that, Briar, or is that...
Yeah.
Why did the music just cut in suddenly? Sorry, hang on.
I asked a very dangerous question.
I guess. Yeah, we'll keep it there for now. As you ask that, you hear, "Our home. The only
about as-
thing that's keeping your home alive."
My home or their home? We have different homes.
Very different homes.
Yeah, I just want to point that out.
All of them?
Homes. As
I feel like that answer's cheating.
you begin to walk closer and closer, you begin to see that in the distance there's this almost reflective heat wave-like appearance, almost to what you would imagine on a long desert road where you do see that sort of wavy-like texture. But this one, you don't see what's beyond it and the ripples. Whatever you're seeing appears dark, almost like it appears like a dark liquid that is rippling. And as you get closer and closer, you begin to see that there's this large diameter circle, probably for 100 yards in each direction, of what looks like a pool of black liquid with little speckles in it that almost look like white stars that begin to echo all around it, as if you are looking through a layer of liquid, a different sky at night. You see the echoes approach, stand and hover, rather, over this black pool, about right in the center, the 3 of them. As you hear, "Join us." And they submerge directly downwards into this pool of black liquid.
I just kind of directly jump off into a
Hey.
cannonball. I don't talk about it or nothing. I just kind of go, all right.
Okay. Roll me a wisdom save. I'm kidding. Don't do that. No. Wait. Okay.
All we see is just a little.
No, it's not fun. It's scary.
The rest of you, as he lands into it, do hear the little, almost the consistency of a slightly thicker than water, but still not viscous. A ripple does echo out as you hear audibly this echo across the pool, and as it reaches the edges, no ripple comes back. It just stops.
Well, here's to. I don't. Should we follow?
Don't know where else we would go.
All right. I believe Briar showed us the proper procedure, and I will follow suit and just.
The cannonball.
Yeah, a true cannonball, a 300-pound cannonball.
As you see him jump up, hug his knees to his chest, which you didn't know that he was capable of doing.
Oh, I'm extremely flexible, and you have no idea.
He impacts the liquid, and as it does, you hear this of this liquid almost emanate up and outwards, and as it does, before it comes falling down, you see it freeze and retract.
Well,
and
I
as
thought
it
was gonna
does,
take with it.
and as it does, retract inwards, bringing all of it back down to level. Another ripple.
Just walk in
Okay.
real slow, like dipping your feet into the pool for the first time. It's like, I'll just get used to the temperature and then duck my head in.
So
A sensible approach.
just duck your head, or are you like diving in, or are you going full body or just part body when you...
I'm just walking in till I'm totally submerged.
Okay.
I'm following him, but before I submerge, I just go and then go down.
Okay. As you step into this pool of liquid, you stop, as if there's a ground 2 inches below the surface. And
It was proper procedure.
Wait, is this just me or everyone?
this is both Sercie and Raven.
Okay.
As you both step in, you feel the ground. And as you walk, you feel it at a gradual decline, almost as if it is an actual beach.
It is whatever we make it, I suppose.
And you get to a
Can
certain
people on the-
point where you get up to your hips and you're looking around like, when is it gonna... And you just, blip, as just completely drop all the way into this liquid-like consistency. And as each of you pass through, let me actually switch some stuff real quick.
Roll a wisdom saving throw.
You
Man,
I got
forgot to-
negative 30. You can have black goo and stars coming out your nose for days.
I hate when that
It's a good
happens.
thing I don't have a nose.
Yeah, true. Gotta clean my moss.
As each of you pass through that layer of liquid, you find yourselves floating, weightless, in a void, surrounded by stars. The gossamer skies continue to cover everywhere around you, and you see the three spectral-like figures, as if flying, gliding downwards into a certain direction. They look back at the rest of you. Follow.
I am immediately having a trauma response right now.
Oh no.
And just kind of looking around like I'm expecting to see Sazed or something happening.
Yeah, this is exactly what Sercie and I have talked about seeing in our dreams.
So you guys did dream this too.
Yeah.
I feel left out.
Oh, it's okay, buddy. It was this, except we weren't actually here. It was a
They
dream.
couldn't move. It's like being forced to see different images and hear sounds, but you can't affect it.
Never mind. I don't feel left out anymore. Echoes. How does one follow with no ground?
Where would you like to move?
You told us to follow.
Forward.
You slowly watch as F.L.A.R.E begins to drift in a forward direction.
With his glaive.
No glaive. No glaive. There's no danger. We're good.
Think, and you'll go.
Oh, it's thought, not verbal. Thank you for clarifying that. I would have said forward continuously.
Forward, 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 forward.
Forward
Each time
very
it's like
quickly.
3 feet.
I believe for the actual mechanics, DM, it's like how quickly versus intelligence or something.
I believe, let me double check real quick. I think it is. Oh wait.
It's strength
Yeah,
times
intelligence.
dexterity divided by con.
No. Determined by your intelligence score. So it is 3 times your intelligence score. So
3 times
So
my intelligence
I can't
score.
move.
So it does have a base standard. You do have a speed. It is just whatever you have. If it's more than, you get that extra speed.
I was gonna say.
Also, what's your intelligence score, not bonus?
Oh yeah, score.
I was like, if you have a 0 intelligence, you're just dead.
My brain was thinking bonus, and I was like,
Oh.
wait a minute.
So
may not have a
my
brain jump.
movement speed has upgraded to 42 instead of 30. So I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah, I'm sitting on your shoulder still.
Yeah, you can just hold on to the moss.
Is this like a 0 gravity situation, or are we still upright?
It is 0 gravity in the sense of you can see where the pool began above you, but looking around, there is no other landmark separate from the stars surrounding to dictate whether you are up or down.
I'm just gonna slowly like move forward, but as I go, I twist, so I'm just like, and then I'll grab
Just
onto F.L.A.R.E.'s
spiraling.
back. Just hold on.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're all just gonna.
I'm gonna do the same.
So eventually, F.L.A.R.E is the pack mule for the entire group.
Am I the most intelligent person here?
What's your
I'm just
intelligence?
picturing Big Hero
15.
6.
That's a good way.
Raven's
to
holding onto your leg like a child on a dad's foot.
Yeah,
What-
just like
What's your intelligence score, F.L.A.R.E?
14.
minus 50.
Oh, okay.
Mine's also 15, but who cares?
What the fuck, guys?
It's
Hey, mine's 10. I have a
We're
reason. to be
accelerating
here.
you.
Big Hero 6 moment.
All right, I'm fine with it.
With all your intelligence put
Hey.
together, do we just move super fast?
Not,
Like
not
What's that?
quite.
Dum-dum.
If Sercie and Raven start thinking forward, you do kind of feel this ever so slight pull at different times that kind of make it wobbly and askew. But for the most part, you're all headed in the direction of the echoes. And as they realize you can keep up, they begin moving a little quicker. And eventually, there you see a very large, almost
Oh, baby.
light rippling sphere, where the stars behind it, or beyond it, almost you see them move a little bit. And you see the echoes pass through, and as they do, they disappear.
Is cannonball proper procedure for this as well?
When in doubt, I mean,
Well, you're all hanging on to me. Maybe we'll just
So as the
down
Interstellar
through.
soundtrack starts playing, no, I'm kidding. You do pass through and eventually feel a very cold sensation as the bubble passes around you all. And as you do, you begin to see this almost glass walkway below you.
freaking Rainbow Bridge.
You can still see the stars that surround, but it's almost as if whatever is in this bubble cannot be seen from the outside. And you begin to see multiple of these glass, almost hallways and walkways, stairwells and tubes that go around. And it almost looks as though it's a glass city. You see one much larger glass panel that follows outward and a giant circle. And there you see 3 chairs. You see the echoes float down, turn, and levitate down into these chairs. Welcome to our home.
fly over to one of the echoes, be like, "Oh yeah, cool, thanks. So curious. Do you guys dream? Is that a thing? Do you guys sleep? You don't even know what a dream is?"
We have no need to dream.
Okay, you have a need to dream. You don't know what you're saying. Can you dream?
We can think. We can imagine what we wish. But to dream, no.
Do you know why, perchance, all of us would happen to have had a similar dream about here?
You see it sort of turn its head at you at more and more of an angle till an impossible, almost 90 degrees, until it brings its head back.
I kind of mimic him.
Do you know where you are?
You're home.
Yes. You're...
That's about it. Nope.
The material plane calls it a starlit sinkhole because they can't fathom what this is.
Wait a second.
You
As I'm
stand-
like looking around at all of this stuff, when she says, or they say starlit sinkhole, I'm just gonna like look back.
Yeah.
We call it home, and we call it the astral sea.
We are in the astral plane.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So
This is
we're
weird.
inside the sinkhole right now.
Yes.
And every time we have these dreams, we came here or it was showing us here. Why?
I do not know of your dreams. But, as this man knows, and kind of looks over to the F.L.A.R.E. Certain people have the ability to grant a certain dream.
But usually, there's more to it than just granting a dream. There's more guidance, more subliminal messaging, so far, this doesn't
You'd be
seem to
surprised.
track.
So like a deity could grant this dream or guide this
Deities,
dream?
archfays, I mean, druids with strong enough connection to the oh god, having a brain fart. What's it called?
Briar has a stroke
Circle of
and
dreams, like
dies in the
myself.
astral sea.
No, it's my own stuff. I'm a circle of dreams druid. It's not just deities. People with the know-how can do it. But
People with the
why?
power.
Why and what is it trying to tell us? Especially such a ragtag group of strangers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys didn't all know each other throughout life, I assume?
I met them literally like 5 days ago.
But I guess you also didn't have a dream, so that's just happen
I
chance.
Don't dream. I assume because I do not sleep.
Hey, ouch.
Presses me. I wish you could dream.
Please.
Sounds like your dreams are terrifying.
Oh, not all of them. This one, yes, absolutely. I'm gonna turn back towards the echo. So you keep all the worlds together. That makes sense. Astral Sea is the glue between everything, more or less. But why invite us here?
The astral sea is made of glue.
Not made of, but I mean, it exists between all of the realms. I mean, most magical theory, if I'm not, I could be wrong. This isn't my. It creates wormholes. That's how you travel through the different planes. You technically go through the astral sea, just not in any sense of being in it. If that
Did we
makes
go
sense.
through the astral sea when we came here from Meshatal?
I don't think so. That felt like a much different experience, but maybe it was a wormhole of some kind.
Do you guys have creatures here? Like big fishy looking creatures,
Oh,
dragony
yeah.
creatures?
They're like those. What was that? Like a orchid? Orca?
We have many creatures in our seas. The seas don't start and they don't end. They only permeate
Right.
through all.
So,
Glue was a metaphor. I don't understand biologicals sometimes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Robot Man. I'll do better about that.
I will adapt.
For those of you
So-
who live in the material plane, this, as some of you may know, is where we host your special celestial engine.
The celestial engine is here,
Yes,
like close by.
we keep it hidden away. That's our deal with the strongholds.
Why did you bring us here?
Something is off with all of you.
Well, that's rude.
You have a fairy from the Feywilds. A battleful goddess from times before. A cleric and a sorcerer from Meshatal. None of you have a reason to be here, but yet, you all are. Were you having a question, F.L.A.R.E?
Yes, sidebar. What is the celestial engine?
It is what is keeping existence itself from pulling apart.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah.
But somewhat similar almost to you say it's an engine and you say it's celestial in nature. Is it not a machine?
A machine of divination.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
How did this
Maybe I'm
convene? You said
related.
it was a deal with the strongholds. Was this something created by mortals? Was this a group effort between you and the mortal plane?
Are any of you familiar with the Wars of Desolation?
I feel like I should be making a wisdom saving throw right now.
Funny enough,
Just for
F.L.A.R.E,
shits and gigs.
actually, F.L.A.R.E, you would not know that name.
Oh yeah, that's true. Never mind.
There were three. Upon the last, prior to Vecna's death, Vecna successfully cut part of the fabric and weave of time itself. The world began pulling itself apart. Cities, people, kingdoms, standing perfectly still, looping the same length of time, saying things that happened 10 years ago or 5 years from the present. The gods from the divine gates gave to the world the celestial engine, the Wild Mother, the Everlight, the Allhammer. They by hand begun to weave time itself back together and placed this engine in the center to hold it. But there lies an issue. The engine long time ago was fractured. It's been patched. But even before that, the engine was never made to be a permanent solution. So now we face the consequences. And it's feeding on our home like a battery. And you see the spectral hand drift outwards and point. And as you all look, you see one of the stars in the distance slowly dimming until eventually snuffs out. You see one of the spectral forms other than him. The third star falls.
What exactly is powerful enough to fracture this machine? Did it just get overwhelmed? Did it happen intentionally?
Do you know of the Crimson Ascendancy?
Yeah.
Need I say more?
Yeah, I think so.
I am not able to extrapolate from incomplete data. Also, you said the third star.
Yes.
I assume the third fallen star.
When we were in that time rip, we heard the sixth star has fallen.
A fragment of possibility from the future. You see all of the echoes begin to look at each other.
We were hearing messages about the future. So if I were to say the words "she ascends" or "the chains no longer remember what they bound," those mean nothing to you.
They could mean anything. It could be.
But the fact that there was a literal tear, like the city itself or the ground shook like an earthquake. Everybody froze and mindlessly chanted this at the same time. That sounds very similar to what you're describing.
What you
How do
saw.
we fix this? How? Somebody's got all the answers, right?
There's a reason one of the Sheravan are at the Stronghold. We know nothing of how to fix something at this large of a scale.
Can you take us to it?
We are curious about you. But we cannot risk it. The last who asked were the ones to fracture it.
Valid.
Were they?
The Ascendancy.
Who do you think would know about all of this and also want to involve people who seemingly have nothing to do with it? You seem to know a lot, so best guess. I don't expect you to have the answers, but you must have suspicions.
The same reason we were curious as to how he's here. Points back over at F.L.A.R.E. Nothing should allow him to still be alive.
I'm sorry, you said Vecna was dead?
Yes. He was killed.
He's running on Windows XP. Takes him a minute to process what you said. Sorry.
You...
A little after your time, I imagine.
So F.L.A.R.E. is
I'm-
older. What?
How do you... I'm sorry. I'm just trying to compute Vecna,
When-
the Undying One, the Lich King, the Whispered One, is dead.
Yes.
Undying died. That's just a poor name.
But I suppose...
All right.
If the fabric of time is to tear, things of the past have the potential to return.
And
But that would also
Steve,
include
What's-
Vecna.
What of the other
hence
gods?
his cult. Yeah.
Prime, I'm assuming we're going off of Dawn War Pantheon, so Prime and Betrayers, kind of. DM.
This one is a weird mixture. There isn't quite betrayers in the same way. There are, which you would know from what you were involved in. The wars that clashed, the purpose behind them was a buildup of tension between royal forces, between divine forces, and between evil forces. Royals wanted to live their lives the way that they wanted. The divine wanted things to be their way, and evil wanted to take it all.
If this is an issue that affects all time, then why are we the ones that are being sent to fix it? Or why hasn't it already been fixed by somebody else in a different part of time?
Or are we pawns in someone's game to further damage the engine?
Somebody can't fix something if it hasn't happened yet. 100 years ago, nobody knew it was this big of an issue.
Right, but if time is fracturing, we could theoretically find a way to go back 100 years in time and tell someone that it was a problem.
100 years back would still be too late.
So 1,000.
We'd have to go back before the F.L.A.R.E even occurred.
Either that, or we need to figure out a more permanent solution. They said the celestial engine was temporary. Also, I'm a divination machine. That's a divination machine. Is that not odd? To anyone?
Maybe you guys could get to know each other.
Lost relative, maybe.
You could be the celestial engine's therapist. Help it.
So why are you breaking down?
Tell me how you're feeling today.
Did you last feel complete?
So
Why do you no longer feel whole, friend?
we're saying we want to go back in time and stop the Crimson Descendancy from fracturing it in the first place?
But
Or we find a more permanent solution.
I will be honest, I'm not necessarily a fan of fucking with time to fix time. That just seems like we're gonna...
Working backwards.
Yeah, we won't know what we will affect, because it's a domino effect, right? So...
I'm gonna look over at Boy.
You see him still completely stunned by everything. And he sort of looks down at his amulet. I still haven't gotten it to work. Don't look at me. I don't know.
Gotten what to work?
Nothing.
No, that's something.
Looked down at his amulet.
I sort of takes his robe and covers it. There's no amulet here.
Kinda
Please leave a message.
Gesture to the echoes
Messages.
and back to the amulet. Would that relic be powerful enough to send us back?
You see the echoes sort of drift up close to Boy as he's like squimmering at this spectral figure approaching him.
I'll just stay close to him, sending him the thoughts.
It looks down.
Question.
Answer.
You all were curious about me. Why?
Because you don't belong here.
So here's the thing. I don't know where I belong because my memories are... So... Do you have anything to supplement? Any knowledge that I may not have that you could bestow upon me?
The urge to give the most stupid recommendation about, like, if you get Wendy's fries right as they switch to after breakfast, they taste really good. No, but
McFlurry, it holds all the answers.
this
Come
entire
back with some
campaign's been a
stupid
giant
saying.
advertisement for McDonald's.
Download the app now.
Okay. But as you ask the question, they stop and think. Look back to you. We have much knowledge, but we don't have your memories.
I'll take knowledge. I don't need memories current. Well, I would like them, but I will take knowledge. Anything that has to do about me, it seems you know more about me than I do.
What I know is that the battle for Gallus were created in the hundreds of thousands to fight wars for mortals. But even with that attempt, most people in the mortal plane died by the end.
You're saying I was created to do mankind's dirty work and it still did nothing.
I mean, welcome to most mortal history I read.
Maybe I'm glad most of them died.
I'm just gonna take a single step away from F.L.A.R.E.
A single float.
A single float. Breathe
Backstep,
deep.
backstep.
A single intelligence just boink. You see them stare over at you. "'Tis the life of mortals. They do what they can to
Highest.
survive.
Greedy.
Were the other Warforges able to think and feel the same way that F.L.A.R.E. is thinking and feeling now?
I've never met one to be able to tell you. But most of them were not given divination. So either someone is taking a liking to you, or you're an anomaly.
I think you're the world's first AI.
God gave us ChatGPT.
How dare you?
I stand up, pointing at the robot. You're taking all my natural resources in my druid groves.
My Druid grows.
Do you want me to take your unnatural resources too?
No, please.
Then shut the fuck up,
So
boy.
if I'm reading between the lines here, maybe you're taking an interest to F.L.A.R.E. because if something or someone that existed before the Third War of Desolation has manifested again or is here again, is there something related to Vecna that you're afraid is also reappearing?
If anything from the past reappears, we should all be afraid.
That's vague.
To my
I would
knowledge,
say do not be afraid, but I am a literal creature of war. So
Yeah, you're pretty chill.
it's a good thing you are all on my side.
the Weave
You're going to tell us
Lands-
about TT's amulet?
We've never seen this before. We are not sure of exactly what its purpose is.
So, being the keepers of this divine engine, what would you suggest? Should we search through the past, if that is an option? Or is there some other answer we could seek in the present to remedy the engine?
The Stronghold, us, all of the kingdoms of the world, haven't a clue. We've exhausted every resource patching it, and now it's eating our own home and will eventually yours. But
When you say it's
you've already mentioned the improbability of each of you being here. That's why we come to you.
when you say it's eating your world, your sea, what does that imply? Is it eating the latent magic? The actual material? Is there some sort of fuel source we could find, develop? What does it run on?
Existence.
Okay, well,
Unless
plenty of that to go around.
you are able to find another plane to feed it, it would only do nothing but give us more time.
So our best option is to stop the tear from happening in the first place. It's just a question of, is there something or someone strong enough or powerful enough to send us back?
If that is the route you choose, and you have the
I
ability to return,
will like just shift nervously and look over at Sercie. Do you remember that guy whose house we kind of took over
Mm-hmm.
after we found Boy and all that? He had the creepy writing in the basement and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys were down there having a look around, as I was talking to him, he mentioned he was in the Fey realm looking for something like components or working for Vecna. He mentioned that he recognized me and he recognized you. I think we may have already made this decision.
You guys have
think-
been to the Fae?
I think we may have had a hand in the War of Desolation, or one of them.
remember I don't know where we heard this, but I think it was F.L.A.R.E. Was it? No, you don't have your memories. Someone said that they recognized us from the war. It was that guy and then one other thing after it. I don't remember.
I'm beginning to think that we already made this choice. But maybe we failed. Maybe we didn't have something that we needed to stop this tear from happening.
A word to the wise. When time itself is tearing apart, people who return and people who disappear see different decisions, different blocks and lengths of time. Maybe in one life you chose this path, and though you still can, time is not fixed. In 2 ways now.
Well, if we do need to go back into time, I could try asking either of my parents. They're both very powerful and capable people who may have connections to someone who does know something about how to do this. If you all don't have any other special amulets that you're keeping that are extremely hush-hush and bad to ask about.
I'll just look over at TT, just like, you figure it out yet? Or, like, give me an update, bud?
Elbow him?
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, there's something. I mess with it, I feel something, but I can't. I thought it was a thing that was supposed to make me blip blip, but I can't blip. And it's not a performance issue, don't even say that.
How long have you had it? If you don't mind me asking, because certain magical artifacts do need time to attune.
We stole it, got it, about... Raven, how long ago was that?
It's been a few
Don't
weeks
give
now.
them that face, Briar. We know you steal shit all the time.
I do not steal. I simply take things that people no longer wish to have. Otherwise, they would have someone guarding it or in possession of it.
Mm-hmm.
We straight up stole this.
It's been about a week.
I assume
I feel like attunement does not take that long.
No, especially if you've been fiddling with it for that much. Well, anyone else have any other plans or ideas?
I feel the Fae may have a grasp over time that most mortals do not, so we could start there. Also, sorry, sidebar again. Memoryless old person here, not person. You keep calling these 3 wars of desolation. Is that supposed to mean something? I feel like back when I was from, it was just called war.
Wars aren't typically named until after they're done, and it seems like you missed quite a bit of those.
For all we know, you're probably from the first war. Maybe you didn't even see the other 2.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with any of the names.
Any of the same name, numbered 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, sorry.
And how long ago was the first?
Actually, Sercie and Raven, if you could roll history checks as
we did this.
Echoes listen, or as the echoes speak back. We have no semblance of seconds and
Time.
minutes for you. It moves
So
differently.
we're in the complete wrong place to be talking about time. We should go to the Fae.
Yeah, if we go
Hence-
back to the material plane, I'm sure there's a mushroom circle somewhere near wherever you guys are.
I rolled a dirty 20 on history.
Okay.
That's dirty, alright.
I got a 7.
Okay.
20.
Sercie,
I'm distracted.
you know it's old, but yeah, you got so much else on your mind that you're like, I don't even care about that question. Raven, thinking back on it, the year you remember reading was somewhere a little after 1,000 years before Fracture of it beginning. So that would make the start of the war possibly a little over 1,800 years ago.
I think I'll just like bringing the group back together. I still think F.L.A.R.E's memories are very important to restore. Say we are able to go back, depending on how far back we need to go, F.L.A.R.E might be the best and only guide for us. He was able to, or he experienced what we're going to be walking into. If there's any tips or I don't know, like, because our plan is to stop this tear from happening, but that tear was caused by Vecna, who, as F.L.A.R.E mentioned, is the Undying One. We know Vecna was killed, but we don't know how. How do we kill him before they manage to do it the first time and or stop the tear in general? I would feel better if we got F.L.A.R.E back to 100%. Just go in with everything we can.
Well,
Maybe
if you need
the
any...
maybe the wisps
Go ahead.
know something that could help him get his memories back, or the echoes. I mean,
We do not have the ability to restore memories. And we're not exactly experts in material plane.
we'll just have to find a better cleric then, or I could learn how to be a archmage cleric lady in the next few days.
No pressure.
I feel like we have more pressing matters than my memories at this point. Well, if we need to go back in time 1,800 years ago, I'm a good anchor point, I guess. As for what war is like, with what memories I have, everyone tells stories of the peace that comes after. No one can explain what it feels like during. Thousands or tens of thousands expend impossible amounts of effort every day so that a handful of soldiers can move 3 feet. Victory itself is measured by survivors, but defeat is also measured by that same number. And some days it was a miracle that only a few dozen died, and other days it was a miracle that the battlefield wasn't completely still afterwards. You learn the sounds, you learn the commands, you learn to breathe whatever air you can, if you breathe. And you find purpose in it. You find something to take your mind away from why it's happening. And every day is the same, but not the same. You become the weapons you use. You stop seeing the enemy as an enemy and simply a objective. So if you ask what to prepare for, I cannot prepare you. I was created for war, and even I had to get used to it. It seems that time has brought me back for a purpose. And a sword has no purpose once peace arrives.
F.L.A.R.E, those sound to me like memories.
It's fragments.
F.L.A.R.E,
It's feelings more than memory.
F.L.A.R.E, make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh God.
Oh God. There's also always
Ah.
the possibility of when we go back in time, or if we go back in time, experiencing that could trigger things for you.
Yay, I want to get triggered. Wisdom saving throw, I add nothing to it, so 15.
Okay.
Not bad.
As
Solid.
you continue on this description of the little images you remember, almost as if something takes over your vision, you see this large red span of a landscape. Almost as if soil turned over is stained in blood. This distant haze covering exactly all that's around you, but as you're describing it, the sounds, the feeling, the emotion that comes with it. Seeing large silhouettes of creatures and machinery, and all you see are these objectives, as you spoke of, and the silhouettes of them in the haze. The sun through that and the smoke, an orange, burning color. And it fades back to where you currently stand.
Well, if we're going back into a war, just make sure you have good shoes. Preferably waterproof. Well, some things that are waterproof aren't blood-proof. You know what I mean. There are some days that... There are some days that the ground itself is more red than brown.
Depends on if you can see color, right? I suppose.
If you don't have to worry about it, then you don't have to worry about it. It's just dark
Land
water.
covered in gray.
As she fields of gray,
War never changes.
gray roses too.
Ah, yes, the Feywild colorblind fairy. What a perfect place to be colorblind.
That's gotta suck.
No, my fairy can see color. He's normal.
He's normal, guys. I'm just not. The echoes. You hear multiple of
Is
them.
an ad for McDonald's. Sorry.
Oh, copyright. Get it off screen. Ah. Oh, man. The echoes once again speak out, multiple of them hearing their whispers of the and hearing the front one. Whatever it is you do, good luck.
Thank you.
I feel like we need a little more than luck, but no small amount of the tragedy and horror is about to present itself to us, I'm sure. So, Feywild, anyone?
Not sure if we can get there from here, but should be some magic circle, or sorry, mushroom circles around the stronghold, I'd imagine. Somewhere in the area, at least.
Well, the astral plane is like glue, you said. It glues the planes to each other. We could theoretically find a doorway here if the echoes know of somewhere that would be easier than your magic mushroom circles.
Nah, dude, my trips are like the best way to get there, dude.
We avoid it at all costs.
So you know where one is.
What?
It's not near us anymore.
All right, magic mushroom circle it is.
Yeah, these guys are so close to being useful.
I know, so close. You could almost call them helpful.
Yeah.
Before
Wait. Yeah, before we do anything, what are we just gonna go back in time? Like, are we actually planning to go back in time? Because I'm just a navigator, explorer person. Like, I like exploring all the stuff here in this time. But what
You
makes
can be a
us
navigator of time.
What about the sense of wonder for navigating a new world, well, an old world that you don't know?
A new
what
old
makes
world.
us capable of this? Or why
Boy.
us?
If not us, then who?
Why not us?
Well, for one thing, I have a family. Although I
Same.
may never be able to see them again.
But
What's
could
that
we
like?
see our families if we don't prevent the ruin of all?
Okay,
The
give me a
whole-
second. Give me a second. I'm just gonna start walking around and like doing breathing
Around.
exercises.
While she has an existential crisis, understandably so, I might say, I grab a little acorn out of my backpack of holding to give to the echoes. It's one of the rules for my land. They showed me generosity, so I show reciprocity. I'm just gonna leave them a little gift.
Okay, where do you place it?
I assume it'll just kind of float, so I kind of like hold it in front of me and I just kind of like boop and push it towards them.
You watch as it continues, just floating, passes through them, hits their chair, and just ting, and floats back.
Ooh.
As you
I'm
see them
sorry,
hold
I
out their
didn't know that
hand,
was you.
and it stops. And he goes and he sets it down on his chair. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
knew
they'll grow
they
here,
could
but
catch it. Why'd they let it go?
Well, it might grow here if they have proper soil. we can you can all breathe, and there is technically sunlight. Sun's light.
Yeah, true.
Does anybody have
Suns.
a pot?
A pot?
You could plant it in. They could just carry it around like a little potted plant.
Yeah.
Give him a little bonsai tree. Well, should we make our way back then, I suppose?
I'm just gonna come back and be like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, psych yourself up. You got this.
Okay. You do still see that outside the bubble, where the circle entrance is, not only to this bubble, but to the Starlit Sinkhole and out towards the Stronghold, still remains to be seen.
Well, Echoes, it was generous of you to invite us, and we will now take our leave.
Very well. It's not often that we get visitors.
Well, you can now say that you've had a Warforged and a Fairy and a Cleric of the Everlight and a Sorcerer of who knows what. So,
And a child thief.
Hey,
and a
I'm,
Child Thief. Yes.
I am an adult.
Oh, I heard everyone call you
An
boy.
adult
I just
child
kind of
thief.
assumed.
Well, it's because he knew me when I was a boy, and
It's kind of this, like, he didn't tell me what his name was, so I named him. I'm going to start calling him E.T.
You named someone boy?
Yeah.
It's kind of what everybody called me because I would like sneak into places and they would say, "Get out of here, boy," and so I just kind of went by that.
You mortals and your lack of creativity, I swear. All right.
You're named after a plant.
Yeah. I'm a druid. That's like our whole thing is plants.
Super creative.
Okay. Listen here, acronym man.
At least mine is correct.
I see how
My
it is.
name
All
tells me what I am.
Thinking an
Technically,
alternate
in that case,
timeline,
boy
Flair
is
ran for
also
president
correct.
of the United States.
right. I can see it.
And won.
And one.
And won, yes.
And then had 3 terms because people loved me so much.
Yeah.
So, I imagine you all are heading out as of now.
Floating back to the sinkhole. Everybody on
Okay.
the flare bus.
On a
So, for the sake of time here, because we do have to end shortly,
Time.
you all do make your way back to these strongholds. Along the way, can Briar especially, can you roll a perception check just to make sure you're getting everything?
Nat 20, so 28.
Okay.
Hey.
You are very confident that you don't see a single mushroom, let alone mushroom circle, anywhere on your way back. But
Darn. No floating astral mushrooms.
after taking your very long walk back to the stronghold and the gates are lowered, you do see a panicked Tabaxi cleric of this white silk, the same embroidered symbol. Come up to the rest of you. Did Savant Marith go with you?
No.
We cannot find him. We don't know where he is. It has been a bit of time. I don't know where he went. He was supposed to go find a report down in the he calls them the depths. It makes it sound much creepier than it is. He had to go down there. I don't know how to stress this. I'm sure you, especially you, and points to Briar, have dealt with this already. You've been gone for a few days. Time, little weird. They probably already explained that. Well, time there works differently than here, and so coming out of there, you've been gone for a few days. The savant's been missing for each of those few days, so we're really hoping he's with you. But if not,
Have you already looked in the depths?
I mean, we were gone a couple of days. You didn't think to look in the basement?
we looked in
Yeah.
the basement. The basement is very large, and a few of our groups have not returned either.
I feel like that's what you should lead with.
Okay.
Well,
Also, was
you
nobody
can
gonna tell us
you can get
the
lost
time dilation before we went into the sinkhole?
with the way the
Great,
world
thanks,
is
guys.
now. It can happen anywhere.
True. Lead the way to the basement?
Right.
Depths?
Yeah, I mean.
I'm gonna
that
pull out my
seems like-
spear.
As you
I
approach
already my moonsicle.
the top of the stairs, you see the Leonin turn the corner, and he goes, "Where are you taking them?" She goes, to find the savant." He goes, "What savant?"
Oh.
"Savant Merith. Is the sheriff on?" "You really think we let a sheriff on in here?" And that's where we're going to end the session.
I cast fireball.
I collapsed the entire building and we run.
He's going to do the reverse gravity and fall and just...
Mm-hmm.
We've
Love
discussed
it.
this. We've discussed this. We know this can happen.
Briar, could you cast Enlarge on me real quick?
Already on it.
Oh,
I'm just gonna
man.
drop through the floor into the basement.
Okay, I have to dip.
All right. Have a good
Bye.
one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.